Hey everyone, it's Dawn, and today I'm just doing a really quick video to show you how I set up and use my Milescraft circle jig kit. So you can see here that I have a piece of plywood laid over a pair of sawhorses and then a piece of 1-inch thick foam board on top of that. I will lay my MDF on top of the foam board. It doesn't need to be secured, but you can secure yours if you want to. So this is the small circle jig, and this is for circles of 12 inches or less. And I'm lining it up with the hole that I marked, and I have a tiny screw that fits right through that hole that you're seeing me try to line up. And I'm going to secure the jig portion to my MDF, and this is 1/2 inch MDF. I have yet to try it on 3/4 inch, but I plan to this coming week. So once it's secured, I'm going to move my router into position and slide it through the hole in the position in the end of the router and tighten that on really well. You don't want that coming off. And now I'm just lining up my edges to make sure that my router is not going past the outside edge. And this is going to be a 12-inch circle that I'm cutting out. So I have it measured and marked for 12 inches. And I know where I want my router bit to line up. Now this is a standard cutting bit that came with the Milescraft kit. And you need to make 3 passes so that you're not burning up your router bit. So I'm going to line this up and plunge down into my MDF about 1/3 of the way, lock it in place, and then push it around the circle. And as you can see, it is cutting through the MDF, coming around, and I will lower it once again, another 1/3 of the way, not all the way through. Now that it's locked, I can just swing that around really quickly. You want your router to move easily, and you always want it for an outside cut going in a clockwise direction, never counterclockwise. Your bits are not made like that. They are made to cut when you're turning to the right. So I'm making sure that I have a full clean cut. And then I'll lower it one more time, and this will hit into the foam board slightly and make the final cut and free up my circle. You don't want your router laboring to make the cut. That's why you do it in several passes. And there, it should be free. There it goes. It starts to turn. So I shut my router off. And I'm going to release the plunge and then release the router from the jig. A little bit of a struggle there. I'm still getting comfortable using it. So now I'm sliding the holder away from the hole so that I can remove the jig. Don't want to lose my little screw. And there, that is a 12-inch circle, cut perfectly, perfect edges. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you how quick it is to just give these a nice little sand to break that edge. Now I'm preparing to show you how to use the larger circle jig piece. I'm just marking for the half diameter of the circle that I'm going to cut. So I am doing this at 10 inches to make a 20-inch circle. So here I'm attaching the holder piece with that same little screw. It's a busy little piece. And securing the holder, the jig holder, to my MDF. And there's a little hole underneath that slides over the top of the holder to secure it in place. You have to operate your router very smoothly so that it doesn't jump off this. It's not super secure. It doesn't lock into place. You need to make sure you're working smoothly. So I'm attaching my router piece to the jig and securing it very well. Needs to be nice and tight so it doesn't slide off. Repositioning my MDF, and now I'm checking to adjust where I'm going to line up the edge of my bit. And I don't line up outside of the edge. I always cut within the edge, even if it's just on the edge. I always cut so that I'm cutting inside of the piece of MDF. This helps keep your cut circle from slipping out of place and getting some bad cuts. I've done it, so I know that that happens. So now we're securing this. I've started my router and I'm getting ready to push around. This is my first pass, 1/3 of the way into the MDF. It operates nice and smoothly. Very powerful plunge router that I picked up at Harbor Freight on clearance for, I think, $39. And it's a handy little tool. I didn't have a good plunge router, so it was quite a find. So this is my second pass after another adjustment to the plunge depth. And once I complete this round, I'll adjust for the final cut, and this will go into the foam board, just a small amount. And you'll notice that I'm using the jig as a handle to push the router around so that I'm not leaning all the way over the MDF to make the router go around in the circle. And this is safe to do. Your hands are not in the way of any cutting blades. Just need to make sure you're holding everything securely. And once the router is easily within my reach again, I grab the handle and float it around. And this cut should free up this piece if I'm all the way through. And I test it just by giving it a little lift to see if the circle moves, and it did. So now I'm releasing the router to get it out of the way. And then I'm just going to unscrew the little screw in the holder once I knock off some of this sawdust. And I don't fill the hole. I keep that little screw hole on the back side. So when I go to sand, I sand it smooth so it doesn't rock. And then I sand the side that has no hole in it. So this is how quick you can run through a stack of these. I wrap a piece of 120 grit non-slip sandpaper around an old sanding block or sanding sponge. And then I just knock that hard edge off so that it's smooth. And then I stand the piece up on the edge and go quickly around the outside. The router does cut very smooth, so it's not really anything jagged to sand. You just want to get a smooth edge. You can also run this upside down through a table router, and I've yet to do that. I want to make some convex boards with a nice soft rollover edge, and I'll be doing that in the future, maybe when I get my 3/4 inch MDF. But yeah, I sanded a stack of 6 really quickly, less than 5 minutes for the whole stack, and it was ready to blow off the dust, wipe them down, and use them. Pretty quick and easy. I hope this was helpful if you're planning on cutting your own MDF, and you see how easy it is.